And now that we have the picture, okay, so once again, pre, ACH, ACH, ACH. So therefore, all pre's secrete ACH. And then in my parasympathetic, the post can release it. So anything that will secrete ACH is termed cholinergic because of acetylcholine. All right? Now, anything that can bind it is termed a cholinergic receptor. So these are just terms you're going to see in your reading, and that's simply letting you know ACH is present. So here's where it gets fun. The two types of receptors. One is termed muscarinic, one nicotinic. Don't ask me how they got invented in lab that day, okay? Now, look at what happens though, because remember, I keep trying to let you know, some are excitatory, some are inhibitory. The muscarinic, now, don't know if you've ever heard of a muscarine, okay? It's a mushroom, all right? So let this make you think of that particular term. So muscarinic, cardiac muscle, smooth muscle glands have this type. Therefore, based on what type is present will determine if it excites that cell or inhibits. For nicotinic, this is on all post neurons. That means on all post neurons, whether sympathetic or parasympathetic. It's what we find in the adrenal medulla. The adrenal medulla was modified nerve cells, and they are nicotinic receptors. Excitatory. Okay? So, look at our picture. Okay? Pre-fibers, we've got our parasympathetic division, we've got sympathetic, okay? They're trying to show us a post-fiber, and over here on that nerve cell body, they're trying to show me receptors, okay? Now, when you begin to look at the receptors, they're labeling them the nicotinic. Now, continue down to the synapse between the post fiber and your target cell. Okay, things are going to get a little different. If we look at these post fibers going to their target cell, in my parasympathetic division, the ACH is present at that post fiber. The only receptor is muscarinic in my parasympathetic division. Can everybody see that? Now, based on the receptor, you guys have heard of alpha and beta, right? So now, if we're looking at this norepinephrine, see that in my sympathetic division? The norepinephrine, which can be present, can be excitatory or inhibitory. So now we're seeing I have acetylcholine, I have norepinephrine. There was a little bit of dopamine, but that's not a big concern. And depending upon receptor determines if it excites or inhibits. In my parasympathetic division, in this parasympathetic division, okay, the goal, excite those cells to calm down. So what do I see as being the only thing in my parasympathetic? Something that's exciting. Under sympathetic, now if you remember, we had to have some stuff gear up, some stuff gear down. Okay?
That's parasympathetic?
The parasympathetic, yeah, because parasympathetic's selective, and it's only going to do little things. They're big, but they're little. Okay? Sympathetic division, though, if you remember, I kept trying to say, we have to excite or inhibit. And they're letting us know, based on that target cell, if the ACH will excite it or inhibit it, or if the NE will inhibit or excite it. So we're just looking at some different neurotransmitters being present. So parasympathetic, sympathetic, when you begin to see like what will happen based upon excitatory or inhibitory, okay? When we look at sympathetic fibers and the way that they're getting released, one of the things I wanted to mention, even though we've talked about it in relationship to the gastric system, to the digestive system, one of the things, and Kyle, thanks for bringing it up because I just don't pay that much attention to it, acting on our reproductive organs. Okay, so these effects that can happen, digestive system, reproductive system, all of that can just be shut down. Under parasympathetic, goal, bring it back up, going to either the digestive system or the reproductive system. Now, one of the things that has to happen with the parasympathetic fibers, and they have found, like for example, the erectile dysfunction that happens, medications that they make for that, the medications are based on acting upon this, the nitric oxide. So it opens up blood vessels to increase the blood flow, to increase the release of this. That's how those medications work. So their effects, based on sympathetic, parasympathetic, will be excitatory or inhibitory. So if we think about these two divisions, oops, let's take a break. Be back at 10:30.